Hey, all my little corporate pods, LyrGear here. I just wanted to make another vlog today. I played a game that was just absolutely amazing. And, I know this is supposed to be about vlogs and all that, but right now, I'm still in my gaming mode. I really wish I could have recorded this, because this game is just amazing. I might have to go through it again and play it just to put it up on the channel if I can figure out a way to do that. I still need to find my Elgato, but this game that I played, it's an indie horror game. Well, supposedly horror, but it has a lot of really cute moments in it. And there is an aspect of horror in it, but at the same time, it's absolutely amazing. It's got a great story to it. It could have some grammar fixes. But it's called The Forest of Drizzling Rain, which quite a few of you might know by now, but it's so good. The characters, there's character development in it, there's background stories, and there's like it's great. It's based on, I believe, like a real Japanese folklore kind of thing. I'm not entirely certain. That's just what I've been told at the current moment. I might have to look that up, but it was I can't explain. The storyline was absolutely great. There was nothing that really confused me. Well, I was confused about a couple things at first, but it ironed that out along the way. Though, holy crap, it was great. The main character, Shiori, like, it's her story, like, with her parents passing away and all that, is kind of typical. I was a little confused at first when she said that they had no contact with anyone whatsoever, and they cut off ties with all of their family when she was little. And when there was no pictures of her childhood in that present she got, it was a little confusing, but it did iron itself out. That was really good. And the connection between her and this place she goes to, that's something like she feels somewhat nostalgic, and you get that idea she's been there before. It was kind of made obvious that it was her grandparents' place before, her grandfather's, and that's kind of a given for the typical storyline for stuff like this, but it was, how to explain it, and I guess when she first gets there, it's dark and night, and it gives you this creepy factor, and you can't see a gosh dang thing at all. You can't see anything until you find a candle, I believe. It was a candle, I think. Yeah. But, what was it? Then you run into this girl who was stowing away in there. She makes the manager sound like he's this creepy guy who's a little cuckoo in the head. Oh gosh. That was a good touch, being as you later find out manager's not a bad guy. Sorry for any spoilers for you guys, but this is a rant for the game, so if you want spoilers, watch the video. If you don't, then I would suggest just stopping right now. But in any case, I love the way they build up the story. It's amazing. I keep saying this, but that's because it's true. Thank God I got the true end at the very end. Oh, it was so sweet. Like, oh, my heart. But I thought it was really interesting the way they portrayed the manager at first, who you later find out his name is Suga. I really hope I'm pronouncing their names right, but Sakuma, who was the girl that was in there, turns out to be sort of a runaway, and manager just wants her out of the building because it was past closing time. Though when you first see him, he's carrying around what looks like a sword, so you get this creepy feeling, crap, is he the bad guy? Is he gonna try and chop me in half or gut me with that sword? Nah, turns out it's not really a legit sword, in a sense. I think it's pretty cool, because at one point, during this little night chase thing, trying to escape him, like, he ends up cornering you in this room with a glowing stone, which you later learn is called a night glowstone. And, well, he has his sword, and it looks like you're back to a wall, so it's kind of like, ah, crap, am I gonna get killed? Was this a bad idea? Then he hands you a memo. It's like, wait, what? Okay. And all he's saying is it's past closing time. You shouldn't be there. It's like, well, I'm a little confused, but okay. And he lets you know that he's called the police. Like, okay, I can understand this. You're the manager, and people have broken into your fine little establishment here. It's not too awful much of an establishment, though. They say it's a museum, but it doesn't really seem like it. If they had turned it into a museum, you would think there'd be like more artifacts or things displayed. It does seem more like a home, which is kind of strange. I would have said to the game maker, unless there's a reason for all of this, like if you wanted to portray it as a museum at that point, I would have put a couple more artifacts or something around those lines. Unless it was just supposed to be like a historical home, which I've been in a couple of those before. Because I went to, what was it? The Whaley House, I believe it was. The Whaley House out in San Diego, California, supposedly the most haunted house in America. I know a lot about ghost stuff. I'm not entirely saying I believe, I'm not entirely saying I don't believe, but at the same time, it's just, no, not that many people go through it. Anyway, well, the storyline continues, and he ends up having to let you stay, because technically, you own the place. And all you're doing is trying to figure out about your parents' past and all that, because you found something in your clock which broke in the beginning. And you're looking through stuff, trying to find reminiscence of your parents, your grandparents, which so far I've only heard of the grandfather. I haven't heard anything of a grandmother, so I'm assuming she wasn't in the picture. But, oh, what was it? Sorry, I blank a lot on words. But while you're going through, you start getting this really weird feeling, I suppose. And then at some point, a voice starts talking in your mind, which turns out to be red text on the screen. That's a big red flag right there. For any of you gamers who usually play it, usually red text, unless the characters are just color-coded for their dialogues, usually red text is a bad thing. But you come to find out later that you made a promise to somebody who happens to be a spirit, a very pissy and a very upset spirit, and I don't blame her. I'll tell you about that here in a little bit. But this just, I recommend this game to anybody who likes, like, what was it? So it has multiple aspects to it. It's See, it's got the backstory to it. It's got the whole story just comes full circle. And I like that about video games, because not a lot of video games made by people, made just by anybody, usually do not do that very well. But it's a great game. It's got the horror aspect, it's got the touching, heartwarming aspect, it doesn't really say, but it's kind of hinting at the romance factor. I shouldn't entirely spoil it, but I guess if you didn't want spoilers, you would have clicked out of this by now. But it's kind of got that romance thing going between, like, in the end, going between Shiori and Suga, which is absolutely adorable. It's so freaking cute. I'm a tomboy, and I love weapons and all that, but I'm also slightly a bit of a romantic. Because romance is so cute. But it's like you don't learn. I guess you do learn more about your family, a little more than you would have hoped to, I guess. And well, the ending I got it's the true ending, but it did have me a little confused. I would have thought that the main character would have wanted to stay, but I suppose the whole thing goes into, for the horror aspect, it goes into detail about why the forest is haunted the way it is, and why the Kotori Obake, which is the main bad guy of the game, and it gives you the whole backstory to that. It gives you, this is what I like about the backstory thing. It gives you backstory to Shiori, to Suga, quite a bit. It doesn't really give you backstory to Officer Mochizuki and Sakuma very much. It's Sakuma or Sakuma, or I'm not entirely sure how they pronounce it, but they don't give too much backstory to them. They give a little bit of Sakuma, sorry. Because it could be like Sakura, but with Sakuma instead. But yeah. Though it's all out awesome in my book, because even the Kotori Obake, it leaves you with a feeling of empathy for her, because even though she seems like a psychotic ghost and a psychotic demon at that, you read the story, you later find in the tunnels underground, you find bones of people that have been there for the longest freaking time. And then you find diaries and written journals. One of the journals was of a man who was starting to question what they were doing down there, and he was working down there. I guess he kind of was one of the victims in a sense, because we didn't get much backstory on him, but we found out that the Kotori Obake, which she was a woman, she was a mother and a wife, and in one of the earlier books that you read in the game, it's supposed to be a child's book that stated that the Kotori Obake, when she was human, was accused of a crime, and she was sent out into the forest and became, she met an Oni, which is a demon, and this demon, I don't recall what entirely happened with that, but she herself, in a sense, became a demon. But you come to find out when you're down in that library that the crime she was accused of was completely false. It was a false accusation. She was wrongly abused for something she never did, because this man was in a way in a twisted love with her, and he did all of this just to be with her. The way they punished these women was just disgusting, in my opinion, which I think in most people's opinion it would be. But these crimes, the children of the wives that were being accused would either be sold, or they would be punished accordingly, supposedly. And the husbands, I don't know, I think the husband was just left. I think they just kind of left him, said, get out, we've got your wife and child, and you're done. I think the woman at that point, she had one child, and she was pregnant with another, and I think they killed the child, and she was repeatedly assaulted to try and keep this with decent terms. She was assaulted many times by different men, and not just this guy that was in love with her, her soul was so tortured, and she ended up, I think, she lost the baby that she was pregnant with, I believe. Either I missed that part, or that wasn't really entirely explained. or that could have been a different case. But you feel, after you hear that, you feel so much empathy for her, which is a great thing to do when you're writing a story, is to create empathy with the bad guy. You, not just sympathy, but empathy, something you feel like you can relate to, which I learned this while I was in my acting and movement class in college. I was still in college, by the way, but you create that kind of bond between you and the villain, because, like, the audience and the villain, and it just creates so much more for the story, and I applaud the creator of this game and the story for that, because it is absolutely amazing. You have done a great work for something that's just an indie horror game, and you've already got so many fans. I would not be surprised if somebody wanted to make an anime out of this. Heck, somebody made an anime out of the game Corpse Party, and that kind of creeped me out. Corpse Party, that I didn't play that one, and I don't really plan to. I watched somebody else's playthrough of that, but God, no, and I don't plan to watch it either. My friend watched it in her anime club in college in Iowa, and apparently it's very morbid, and almost everybody dies, except for 2 people, and it's just, no! God, no! I don't want to see all my favorite characters die. That's just not fair. Hey, you. But, again, I give props to the person who made this game, and I can't say how impressed I am with this game. It's absolutely incredible. The story that you put into it, the way you came up with such amazing ideas is beyond me, because I love writing myself, and I love making stories, but it's really hard for people to come up with a story that can just come full circle, and that can make you feel so much. Like, I kind of wish somebody would actually make, like, a legitimate, like, 3D video game for this, like, for the PS3, the PS4 now, I guess, 'cause I just don't have a PS4 yet, but the Wii or something, the Xbox 360, anything like that would be amazing. That game deserves so much more. I mean, the graphics are perfect the way they are, I mean, but it's, in the sense, it still doesn't do it justice, because, like, with everything you put into that story, something so beautiful could be made out of that. Like, especially special effects. I'm in special effects well, in a sense, special effects for college. Like, animation. I'm in animation. I'm not that great yet, but again, this is all just me saying you did an amazing job. I didn't really entirely explain what the entire game yet. And I feel kind of stupid because I keep getting off track, but to get back to explaining the game, again, you start feeling for the Kotori Abake, and as you're down there, I guess you somehow get stuck down there with Suga, and hopefully, if you go to the right places, you get the right things. Thank God I went down to that little cave thing to the side of the bridge. Yeah, that's just a tip for anybody playing the game, and they are watching this because they do want spoilers. When you go to as Suga to go save Shiori, sorry, my bad. You go to save Shiori, go back to the broken bridge and go to the left. There's kind of a path that way, and you're gonna need something down there. There's a crevice at the right side of the ladder, or the rope ladder, when you go down. Otherwise, you're not going to get a good ending. Very sad ending. I didn't get that one, but my other friend who played this game got that ending. It was kind of depressing. She was so sad. She was crying. But in the end, from what I got, we purified the body of the child that she lost, and gave her back the baby she, I think, never met. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with that, because they make it sound like that they'd never met before, Like, my baby, I finally found you, my cute, cute little boy. We finally meet, something around those lines. But that could just be something that got lost in translation, or something around those lines, but it was so sweet. You give her back her child, and then you have to purify the souls of the other children too, because then they get really pissy and they kind of want to kill the Kotoriabake, because they feel she's the one that did this to them. Then you give her something that you find to protect them, and it's touching, because afterward you're saved by Officer Mochizuki and Sakuma. They pull you back up, and things seem to be fine. Sakuma even noticed that the forest seemed like it was purified. It wasn't spooky anymore, and, well, Officer Mochizuki had to take her to her parents. Oh, pardon me. To apologize to them for not bringing her back right away, because she'd been missing. I wouldn't say that's her fault this time. I mean, sure, it probably wouldn't have been a good idea to go in the forest, but at the same time, if she hadn't, they wouldn't have been able to purify the Kotoriabake. And Shiori probably would have been haunted for the rest of her life with the words, "Come, come, come, my child, my cute, cute little child." It would have creeped me out for the rest of my life, and I probably would have gone insane. But I guess all's good that ends, or all's well that ends well, I suppose. Again, that came full circle. It was great. And then, oh right, I completely forgot to mention, back in the forest you find out that Shiori and Suga actually knew each other as children, because she'd grown up in that little, and she'd grown up in that mansion. I thought it was touching, the whole scenario that they had been like best friends, and he'd been a crybaby when he was little, and she defended him all the time. And then he decided to go and look for his mother, who he thought was in the forest, which was kind of a bad idea. And then they both ended up making some kind of promise with the Kotoriabake, and because Suga didn't want the Kotoriabake taking Shiori away, like, right away, he made a promise to her, just don't take her yet. And he had to give compensation, which was his voice. And at that point he couldn't talk anymore. And he became what's called a Nogami after her family had to erase her memories, so she would forget the promise she made to the Kotoriabake. So she wouldn't end up being abducted later in life, and of course she remembers later. But this is the point where you start feeling like these two have like a romantic relationship, at least building up. And, well, yeah, you find out that cute little scene, and she remembers everything, which makes him relieved in a way, but also kind of scared, because that means she remembers the promise. Then, again, going back to them having been rescued, Officer Mochizuki has taken Sakuma to her parents, and then Suga he actually says something to Shiori. He calls her Shi-chan, which is what he used to call her when they were little. And she says, what is it? Excited, he's got his voice back. But he gets too embarrassed to say anything, and so he has to write another memo. There's a lot I'd want to talk about. And it's the cutest thing ever, because he goes so red, it's so cute. I'm sorry, when people get that embarrassed, it's just adorable to me. Apparently people think that of me. It's kind of weird. But at the same time, that was really freaking cute. And that was the good end. That was the true end from what I got. It told me it was a true end. But yeah, I love that game. Again, I recommend it to anybody who likes this kind of game. But I think this is about time where I need to kind of wrap this up. It's about 25 minutes already. But anyway, again, I gotta say, amazing storyline to the creator of this whole game. You were able to make it come around full circle. You put in so much emotion, and with the empathy with the Kotoriabake. But, like, I didn't really feel any empathy for the for the guy who did it to her, but it's probably because he didn't have there wasn't really much to empathize with him. I felt sympathy because he was stupid enough to pull something like that, but anyway, yeah, just anybody, go and look it up. I can't remember, like, my friend's the one that sent it to me, so I don't know where she got it, but if anybody knows about it, then great. Put it in the comment section below. I would love it if you did. Anything else is, oh, right, credit entirely to the creator, and again, I'm not sure who that is because my friend sent it to me. I'll probably find the creator at some point, but all credit goes to the creator. I have nothing to do with this, so all credit goes to the creator. That way I don't get in trouble. But anyway, love you all, my little quirks and cogs. I will see you probably in the next video, which might be a little later today because I didn't put one up yesterday. I was too tired and I was busy. And I just said, meh. Anyway, peace out. Keep this channel going, my little quirks and cogs. Keep the machine running by subscribing, liking, commenting. That would be amazing. You don't have to, but that would be great. It would help my channel out so much. I will see you all in the next video. So, later, my little quirks and cogs.